Hi, I'm Beth Coleman. I'm an associate professor at the University of Toronto at the Institute of Communication, Culture, Information, and Technology. That's ICCIT at UTM, and also at the Faculty of Information, St. George. So what I work on broadly is technology and society. And I had the great fortune of being supported in this work for the project Reality Was Whatever Happened, Octavia, Butler, AI, and Other Possible Worlds by 2 fellowships from the Jackman Humanities Institute. I was both an artist, an awarded artist, and a faculty fellow in 2022 with JHI. And I have to say that that support has really been critical in terms of making sure that I had the time and the resources to work on this project. So let me talk a little bit about Reality Is Whatever Happened, Octavia, Butler, AI, and Other Possible Worlds, or what we call OBEY, Octavia, Butler, AI for short, because it's quite long. And also some of the community with JHI that has been helpful here. Okay, so OBEY is a generative AI project. It's an art series of visual artworks that I started working on first with an award from Google Artists and Intelligent Machines, which is their arts group. And then I got a call from Allison. It was still COVID lockdown, and Allison said, "Hi, Beth. So guess what? We're going to support this project." So that was amazing. And I was then able to immediately call one of my PhD students and say, good, let's start building a data set and let's start making this model. So what we were thinking about with OBEY, with the Octavia Butler AI project, is particularly I was working with a GAN, a generative adversarial network, which is a particular moment in generative AI frameworks, where one of the outcomes in terms of visual AI was photoreal images. So you can think about deep fakes, you can think about, oh, how do we know what's real and what's not real? You can think about all kinds of ways that misinformation just continues to balloon up in terms of how these technologies can be used. But what I was thinking about was, how can we explore, how can we experiment with AI toward new knowledge? How can we discover things or learn things that we didn't know before? And that's thinking that this is a wild intelligence. It's an alien intelligence. It's not one that necessarily has to simulate human thinking. And that can be both frightening, but it could also be super interesting to see kind of where the edges are in terms of what we know and what we can know and what we can know in relation to other apparatuses, assemblages, networks. So in some ways, in thinking about AI, we're also thinking about kind of the whole history of networks and network knowledge that we've been living with for many years now with the internet, but we're also seeing a shift in terms of this focus of a particular type of framework of decision-making and organizing information and generating new information. Okay, so that's the background. So practically or materially, what I did was put together a tester data set, and I used just a quick web search of here's a bunch of Afro things that are tagged as Afrofuturist images, because I was thinking about Octavia Butler, and I was thinking about Butler's work in speculative fiction, and the questions that she asks are often about what are the boundaries of human, not human, what are the ways in which we build kinship and make relations. And almost always with Butler, new relationships are forged, but they're often forged with great difficulty. Like nothing is ever easy to get from kind of one place to emerging as a new kind of being, which is often whether it's time travel or meeting aliens or becoming a vampire. All those things are about changes of state and the beauty and the profound difficulty of changes of state. And this is not just Butler. I mean, you look at Ovid, you look at the Metamorphoses, like this is an ongoing theme in literature, in the arts, because this is part of what we think about as being humans. Okay, so data set, testing out this model and seeing, oh, it looks like there's something happening here. So then after that, it was really a question of carefully curating training data so I could model within the image space that I wanted to. So what I was looking at was thinking about the history of portraiture and then taking some of that history and working orthogonally, I don't know, in a different direction, contrapuntally. So some of it's tempo in terms of how I'm thinking about it. So essentially what I was doing was wedding human images with other types of relations. In this case, I was modeling a kind of alienness by looking at animals and other creatures, because I don't live in outer space. I don't know what aliens look like. So I was like, what is kind of alien in our domain, but also something in relation to. So the first series that I produced this way was the Alice series. So this was a series of silver tone, almost black and white images that are very soft and painterly. They don't look like, oh, a machine made that. There's no like stereotypical like hard edges or robotic, like it's kind of soft and dreamy and disturbing because it's close to human, but also not human, which I hope really captures a spirit of what the Xenogenesis series, the Butler series, inspired in me in terms of what are these edges. So that's the first series. And then the second series, where I then had the trained model from the Alice series, I then opened it up to a whole bunch of data that's about the ocean. So the colors of the oceans, the different tentacled and modalities of like the kind of beings, creatures that are in the ocean. So what went from like silver and black and white then became like full-blown color, all the blues and aquas and pinks and fluorescence, these incredible colors that do actually come out of nature that one finds in the ocean. So that's the Oceanic series. And this series also was a meditation on portraiture, but a second generation, in a way that in communing with aliens, what a first generation, second generation, what does it look like? And then the last series, I was thinking about landscapes. So I put together a set to train around landscapes, and this set's called the BPP series, and that's the reference there is to the Black Panther Party. And what I was looking at was groups of people. What does it mean for people to assemble and have and use these types of images to inform a landscape? So those are the three series that I did for this project, and the exhibition will open at the Center for Culture and Technology, so formerly the McLuhan Center, at University of Toronto on November 2nd. We will have a symposium, a micro symposium, on Friday, November 3rd. And all information will be available at realitywaswhateverhappened.com. So the website will point you there. And I also will be launching the book for this project called Reality Was Whatever Happened, Octavia Butler AI and Other Possible Worlds. And I did that book in collaboration with K Verlag, which is a publisher in Berlin. And it was really such a pleasure to work with them on figuring out what the book, how the book could support the visual world that was produced here, and also bringing in wonderful contributions, critical and aesthetic, and I've got a physicist in it, talking about not just Octavia Butler AI, but what the what the possibility is here, what the potential is here. So that was all a long way to say thank you to the Jackman Humanities Institute for the support of this work. You guys helped to make it possible. So thanks very much.